Hi, everybody. Welcome to Capital to the Coast BNI. My name is Mike Manning. Each week, we bring you a local small business success story from one of our 42 chapters that range between the Triangle, which is Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, and the coast of Wilmington. If you're not familiar with BNI, it is Business Networking International, the world's largest networking organization. And our job each week is to help our fellow members grow their business in the giver's gain mode. And our local small business success story this week is from Morehead City, a core group going on there. Darin Zogopoulos with Clear Future Consulting Services. Darin will hold the digital marketing seat. And the Morehead City core group is brand new right now. They're up to about 4 members and growing. But Darin, glad to have you on the show today. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you for having me.
All right, so Darin Zogopoulos, as you and Amnon were talking earlier, those two names Darin doesn't sound a lot Greek. So to give us a history about the name there, always love stories about names.
Well, the Zagopoulos name came to the United States with my great grandmother when she was 5. They immigrated to the United States. As far as the Darin, my mother was a huge fan of Bobby Darin, the singer. So that's where that one came from.
All right, well, you have those boyish good looks too, so I get it now. Yeah.
Thank you.
So they brought the full name Zogopoulos over here, didn't change it or tweak it or anything, huh?
Correct.
Nice. Okay, because I know a lot of people change names, but hey, where did they settle?
Mostly in the Maine area.
Oh.
Um, and there's still interesting fact, up until the mid 80s, I didn't know any other family members existed. The power of the internet, when it first started coming out, I was able to do a search and found some distant relatives in the Maine area that I got a little family history from.
Odds are good you've never run across that name, Zogopoulos. You've never met somebody that's, yeah, okay.
Not yet.
And when people see it for the first time and don't ask you how to say it, how do they try to say it?
Oh gosh, it's believe it or not, they get my first name wrong.
How?
I'm called Daniel, Darian, all kinds of things. And then they focus so much on the last name that they get the first name wrong.
Oh, man, and they probably want to pronounce every vowel in there, right? And
Oh
they
yeah,
just phonetically say it.
Zogopoulos.
Yeah,
I mean, it's yeah,
yeah,
called all
nice.
kinds of things.
Zogopoulos, I like it. I like it. So, all right. So you are the founder and owner of the company. You opened it February or January 2021, correct?
That is correct.
All right. So your world, and we tell folks every week that in BNI we have seats. So you are the digital marketing seat. There's only one of you in the chapter. We think we know your world, but we really don't. We're like, oh yeah, he just posts all the time. I mean, I can do that. And then we try it, and after about 7 days, we're like, oh God, I got to post again. So let's talk about uh, an overview of what you do, and then I'm gonna get again. Then I'm gonna get into how business owners mess theirs up.
Okay. Well, what I do is such a wide variety of things. From making sure the site is structured correct so Google recognizes it. Um, Things like the H1, your meta tag and metadata, if they're not set up correctly, those are the first three things Google looks at. And if it doesn't recognize a pattern in those three, it doesn't know what to do with you, and therefore you fall in the rankings.
And where we get into trouble, and I'm assuming, don't know if you still do it, but early on, I would imagine I could pay you to teach me, or I could pay you to do it for me. Correct?
No, I don't do the teaching.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm more of the doing.
All right.
I will go in and construct things in the right way, make the changes, and get you so Google finds you.
Yeah.
That's the big one, and then everything else just kind of blossoms from that.
Where we get into trouble is, and from people in your world, the number one thing I hear is consistency. Because if I post today on August 11th and I don't post again until October 7th, I'm really not showing up anywhere, am I?
Correct. Correct. Google likes consistency. Google looks for patterns. And it's funny you mentioned that because as of July, Google changed its algorithm to say if you're not posting something or making a change on your website at least once a month, you will start falling in the rankings.
They give you 1 month. I figured that would have been shorter window. Huh.
No, it used to be they would just they scan your site ever so often and just look for updates. But now with the outcome of AI
Mm.
and the AEO, the answer engines, Google actually lost market share for the first time in July. And to combat that, that's where they said, okay, if your site isn't changed in 30 days, then you're going to start dropping in your rankings.
Wow, and that for your website, that could be as simple as posting 1 blog a month.
Correct. Update a picture, something different in the content, a blog post, just some sort of activity. So when Google scans it, it detects something different.
And that's just from your website.
Correct.
Now, how do they factor in Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, all of that?
All that is just considered additional activity. Everything stems from SEO. It used to be SEO was the only thing. Then social media came out and your Facebook, your Instagram, your YouTube videos, and all these other things created activity that helped your rankings. Well, now with the AI and everything, it is reverting back to making sure the SEO is set up right because everything is reading off the SEO data.
All right, so in layman's terms, explain to us SEO.
SEO is the information on your site that users are looking for. Everything goes back to the user experience. And if everything that Google has out there, it runs charts and lists of what the most popular phrases that people are searching for. And if it finds that on your site, then it looks for the additional information. What else did the user look at? What else did they type in? What else goes along with that theme? And if it finds multiple items, then it ranks you higher as being an authority on that topic.
And SEO is search engine optimization.
Correct.
And it will, one of the neat things about having a well done website is it works for you while you're doing other things.
Very much so.
All right.
If you're not in the top five in the organic search, which is where SEO puts you, then have less than 10% of the volume that actually looks at your website.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty dramatic drop off from five down.
How would we know if we're in the top five?
When you go through, when you type in a search, the first thing are your sponsored ads. People that pay per click
Mm.
to be in that very top few spots. Then it goes to the what they call the map pack. That's the top three local listings based on your SEO.
Mm.
Then it goes to the organic search. That is where you're in the top five. 70% of people scroll past the sponsored, past the map, and go to those organic listings.
I am one of them. Yes.
Yes, we all do. I mean,
S-
because there are the sponsored ones, may be a local company, it may be a company across the United States. So, and you don't really know who that is, so you come down to the ones that are local.
If I Googled myself yesterday and I'm in the top five, and I Googled myself this morning, all of a sudden I'm not in the top five, what can I or should I do?
Nothing. You can't go day by day.
Okay.
Changes happen. Google runs the algorithm, and you may be number five today. You may be number two tomorrow. You may be number nine the next day. What you do is you look at a pattern over at least a 2 week period. So
Okay.
don't look at it every day because it'll drive you insane.
Right. One of my favorite things to see from people is when you ask them, send me the link to your website. They send us the link to their Facebook page, thinking, "Oh, this does it for me." And no matter how many times you tell them, Darin, that you need a website because that's where people, that's first place people are going to go. They're like, "No, they know to go to my Facebook page." What do you say?
Um, it's a mind shift. If you're that's such a tough question because you have some people who believe, and what they believe, you're not going to change their mind. They have to understand the power of a website, what it can do for your business, how it can 2x, 3x, 4x the amount of traffic that people come looking for. The organic search is where everybody is looking. And if you can get in that top five, it's not uncommon to double your business in a matter of a year.
And if we have no website, but we're active on Facebook and Instagram, will Google find us?
Yes, Google will find you.
Okay.
It will not rank you as high, um, depending on the competition. But I mean, I've seen some where a Facebook page is ranked number one in the organic. But there's a lot of things that went into that. Number one, the business is 20, 30, 40 years old, has had a couple hundred of reviews from customers. There's a lot of things that go into the organic rankings that can rank a Facebook page ahead of a website. But if you're not already there and you're trying to get a Facebook, it will take you a lot longer and a lot more effort than it would be if you had a real website.
And folks, this is one of the reasons why you need to call Darin because we can read it and we still won't understand it. And we think, oh, I post once a week and that may not be enough depending on what the post is. So, um, uh, AI, artificial intelligence, is your industry susceptible to them taking over, if you want to use the phrase? Is yours one of those industries that will be greatly impacted by AI doing it?
No, not at all, because Google is very smart. It is now scanning your site for AI documents. Say you do a blog post and you let Chat GPT write it for you, and you copy it and you paste it right on your website. If Google finds that, it will penalize you. There are
Oh,
certain patterns that it looks for, and when it does find it, it will say, okay, this is not genuine. This is not from from a person. Therefore, it's not what our customers are looking for. So they penalize your website.
so then AI writes different than humans?
Very much so. Yes. And there are patterns. For instance, Chat GPT is really known for adding a dash in sentences. And if you ever look at it, you'll go through and you'll see, it's not uncommon to see 6, 8, 10 dashes in a document. And it'll use special characters. It uses, in most cases, proper grammar all the way through. And those are telltale signs that it's AI. So um, there are even tools out here now that will scan something and tell you what percent that they predict is AI. And if you're
Wow.
over 40%, then you better rewrite it.
So
So
AI
don't be
will
so perfect.
okay. So AI will use do not instead of don't?
Correct.
Okay. Interesting.
Yep.
I love learning stuff. This is cool. Um, Now you have an interesting background of jobs, and let me see if I've got this right based on doing some intel on you. So, in no particular order, we've got commercial printing, auto industry, painting, cabinets, modular homes, right? If
Painting cabinets. I'm not sure where that one
I
came
thought
from.
I saw
Oh,
cabinets.
that
Yeah.
was Master Brand
Yeah.
Cabinets.
Okay.
Cabinet
All
manufacturing.
right.
Yes.
So, how did we get to Clear Future Consulting Services from that background?
Well, my background was automotive for years. When I was in Indiana, at one time we had a commercial printing company. We had an automotive repair and customization shop. We had a industrial supply store. And to show you how old I am, we had a J.C. Penney catalog store. We had all four businesses at one time. So between all that, getting help, and this is when the internet was just really starting to catch on and grow. And getting help, getting computers set up and websites set up, we were small enough that the big boys did not want to mess with. And there was nobody that was taking care of that market. So I had to learn it on my own. And when I started learning it, it became a passion. And then I started helping other small businesses in my community who couldn't get the help from the big boys. And it just kind of grew from there, and it grew into something I was very passionate about, where I could help other businesses and actually make a good career out of.
So was this a side hustle or part of your role at each of your businesses?
It was it started out just part of my role. I mean, think about it. You got four businesses at one time. I think we had 27 computers, and trying to get those all
Mm.
connected and talking to each other, and the websites and all the updates became quite a task. So it got to where it consumed a lot of my time. And then I just kind of migrated over to that side and continued growing the businesses from that point.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay. Where did you get that technology gene?
good question. I have no idea. I'm a very analytical person.
Mm.
Um, and you mentioned master brand cabinets. That's kind of what I did for them. I did software configuration. I would take the programs that I did, we would take a kitchen cabinet, and the software would break it down to every little piece: the back, the sides, the front, the drawers, the hardware, the stain, the material we cut it from, and how many pieces we could get out of a sheet of plywood. That software broke everything down to those individual pieces and created a cabinet. From that point, that's when the internet really had gained so much momentum that there was a need for the SEO and of course now the AEO, and all those little pieces that decided where people found you.
So now who did you get that gene from, that analytical gene?
I would say probably from my father. He was a mechanic,
Yeah.
so naturally I fell into the mechanic role also. And I can take and used to be I would get everybody's problems when I had my shop, especially electrical problems. I think very analytically, so you start here, you go here, and everything, all the little diagrams where it goes in between,
Mm.
you have to make sure all those little points are connected.
Do
So,
you
and that's what I
tinker
did really well at.
do you tinker with your car?
Yes, very much
Okay.
so.
All right. Do your three sons know how to tinker with their car?
Absolutely not. They have no interest at all.
I feel I'm with them, so I'm with them. So, all right. So what led up to you saying goodbye to the corporate world and actually starting your business January 2021?
Well, it had been in process for many years, and I just kept building it and kept building it. And I always knew at some point I'd want to do this. But the corporate world got to the point where it was corporate, following someone else's. I've never been really good at following someone else's lead. I always say I have to work for myself because I'm the only one who won't fire me.
Mm.
So, and it's always been a passion of mine. I love running my own business. I love taking something from the ground and seeing it grow and flourish into something valuable. So that's why I'm doing
Okay, I like that. And when I talk with people that are getting ready to start a business, one of the first things I tell them is you better tell everybody you are open for business. So your first week of your company, how did you start getting the word out?
I did the old fashioned way. I went door to door. I I actually started on a Sunday, and I went around and I put a little flyer in everybody's door. And then Monday I went back and say, hey, did you get that flyer? And some of them yes, some of them no. And then I'm not a natural born salesperson. I'm more of a behind the scenes guy, but I know in business you got to wear all the hats. So I forced myself to get out there and knock on every door. And I started building a good business based off that. It was nice because people were like, I see your face. You're not just someone on the phone. You're not someone that we don't really know. I know who I'm dealing with. And that went a long way in the very beginning.
How long did it take you to start understanding the type of client that valued what you do? Was it a conversation, questions they ask? How did you kind of get a sense of that?
Actually, I had that beforehand because I was a client. I was trying to find someone to do that for me, and no one would. So when I started my business, I made sure I was out there in front of them. I already knew their questions, I already knew where their struggle points were. And I would just touch on those things, and they're like, yeah, that makes sense. Yes, that's what we're missing. That's what we need. So by being a business owner first, needing those services, I knew what was missing in this niche.
And how, in a conversation with them, no, you kind of knew some folks needed help. Probably you Googled them or tried to find them, stuff like that. How did you get them into a conversation to give you those answers? Like, well, Darin, now that you mention it, I'm not getting my phone's not ringing or whatever it was.
I would start the same way every time. Hey, I'm a small business like you. It's about people. My customers buy from me because they know me. I talk their language. I don't try to oversell. I just put it out there. Hey, this is what I ran into. Are you experiencing those same issues?
How did you come up with the name?
I think it was bourbon. Yeah,
Sometimes that's
I
better
would
than chat.
brainstorm. I came up with several different ones over the years, and then I would try to find the logo first,
Mhm.
and then once that it just came clear future.
Bourbon can compete with Chat GPT when you're on come up with some ideas. I get that. Was there a runner up name?
Actually, no. When I came up with this name, it just stuck.
So how does one go about marketing a marketing company?
I do things a little different. I pick and choose my customers. I turn down as many as I take because I look at it from the standpoint if I can't knock it out of the park for you, then I'm not going to take you on as a client because number one, I don't want the bad publicity, but number two, I don't want to waste their money. For example, I had a client who called me in and said, "We want you to do our SEO." And after doing the investigation and checking out what they had and what they were already doing, there was nothing I could do for them. So I just came back and said, guys, what you're doing is working. You don't need me. And then I pointed out a couple of other areas that they might want to look at. And we ended up signing just a small little item over here on the side to help them with. But I earned their respect by just being upfront and honest with them.
How do you know if I know I need your help?
Just through asking questions, asking you, do you understand this? Do you know what this means? What are you currently doing?
Mm.
It's a lot of fact finding. It's a discovery call. Most of my clients, before we sign on the dotted line, I have met with at least three times. The initial time to offer them my services, a second time if they're interested to go over kind of a fact finding discovery call, what they're currently doing, what they've tried in the past that didn't work, what they're looking to gain. And then I create a proposal based on the items that I think will get them where they want to go.
Do you find marketing in the digital world helps a digital company like yourself?
I'm sorry, do I find
Marketing your company in the digital world, does that help you grow your company marketing it in the digital world?
my particular company very little? Because, like I say, I'm hand picking.
Mm.
I won't, I don't just say, hey, I'm open, come to me. I go to them 90% of the time.
So
Now, if
we
someone calls and say, "Hey," let me give you an example. I had a fellow BNI member who said, "Hey, I've got a client who needs some social media help. Would you talk with her?" And I said, "Sure." So we had a conversation. I laid out some things that would help her that she could do on her own, and then this other part that I could help her with that would give her a good bang for her buck. But like I say, each customer is unique. So it's not a package price, just here's SEO, that's what you need.
I
Because in a lot of cases, it's not.
if somebody wants to start their own digital marketing company, would you recommend, if they, let's say they don't have your background, but they know what they're doing, but they've not done it as long, and they're going out on their own, would you recommend, how would you recommend they use the digital world to grow their presence?
They need to um, learn the background, learn what was done in the past, learn what backlinks are, citations, what trust authority is, what Google algorithm is doing, how social media plays a part. I would say you take a year and you study and you learn and you follow all the trends, because in that year you're going to see at least four changes. And you have to learn to adapt what you do and how you do it to meet those changes that Google, mostly Google, is putting out there on how it decides who gets to rank where. But also learn your basics. So many large companies forget the basics. And if you go back to the basics, making sure you have the three components that Google is looking for, it's a great start. So many times,
Yeah.
so many times I'll look at someone's site and I'm going to say, throw a figure out there of about 90%. 90% of the times, websites are not set up correctly. They look great, they got all the information on them, but Google doesn't see it because it doesn't see the keyword in your top three. Without that, just by fixing that, I'll give you an example. I've got a company in California that just by changing the top three, the H1 meta tag and metadata, to match their keyword, they went from 68 to number two in the organic in less than 60 days.
Wow.
That's getting back to the basics.
All right. So, in a nutshell, what is H1?
H1 is your header on your website.
Okay.
That is that should be your main keyword phrase that you want to rank for.
Got you. Okay. And then the meta tag.
Meta tag is when you do a search and your website pops up in the organic, that's that top sentence that's usually in blue. And then the description below that is your meta description. Whatever
Okay.
your primary keyword is or keyword phrase, it needs to be the same in all three. That way, Google, it's very clear to Google what your site's about.
Gotcha. Okay. And then the metadating
Data.
data.
That's the
Okay.
paragraph right underneath that heading.
All right.
Yes,
So
sir.
then if I get a cold call from a digital marketing company saying, "Hey, Mike, you need to hire us to grow your business, blah, blah, blah." I would be the type to do some research on them. All right. I want to see if you're I want to see if you have a website. So what am I looking for if somebody calls me out of the blue? And let's assume I know nobody that does this and I get a call out of the blue. What do I need to know about them to even make me want to talk to them again?
Well, first of all, do they put pricing on their website? If they do, then they're offering packages.
Ah,
Packages
gotcha.
don't fit.
Okay.
There are things in that package you will not need that you're going to still pay for. I I believe that you need to learn the customer. You need to learn what his goals are, what he needs, what his achievements need to be, what his average customer value is.
Gotcha.
Because if I'm offering you a, let's say, $1,000 package a month, but your average customer is only $400, it's going to take you a lot of customers just to pay for the cost of what I'm offering you. So on the other side of that, you look at the strength of the market. What niche are they in? And there's so many pieces that come into play when you're deciding what to charge your customer for the services. And for you looking for a marketing company, if there's pricing, that's a red flag. Do they have reviews? What are the
Mm,
reviews? Do they have
mm.
videos on their website? Another little tip that just came out because of the AI, Google now says if you have a video, a talking video on your homepage, they're counting all the words in that video and the keywords in there towards your content and will help you rank because of that video.
Wow. So,
It changes every month with Google.
yeah.
So you got to stay on top of that.
Well, that's interesting you say that because last week we had a realtor on and we talked about doing it part time versus doing it full time. And with real estate, it's really tough to build a business if you're doing it part time because things change. It sounds like in your world, you could potentially read something new every day, couldn't you?
Very much so. I learn things every day. I look at trends. I look at markets. I look and see what Google did yesterday, what kind of news they come out with. What is the hot topic of the week? You have to, in this industry, if you're not staying on top of the trends,
Mm.
then your customers are paying the price.
So, what got you to BNI?
Oh, that was such an interesting story. An associate of mine who is a digital marketer in Indianapolis, kind of my mentor. He was kind of guiding me along, and he asked me, he says, "Are you in a BNI group?" And I was like, "Nope, don't know what that is." And he says, "You really need to get in one. It will help your business." So first time I went on a Zoom, um, wasn't impressed. Second time I went to a different one. But when I walked into the New Bern one, it was, I knew I'd found a home. The people were so welcoming, and it has been a godsend to my business. I have not only written business, but I have made some friendships along the way that I can call today and say, "Hey, Bobby, I'm having a rough day. Let's just go somewhere and have a cup of coffee." And I can talk to him. We became friends. BNI is not just about earning business, it's about sharing business. It's about sharing, having the trust of your fellow business members in there. I recommend to everyone to be, if you're in business, you need to be in a BNI group.
Yeah, we've had Carol on, Anne Marie's been on. I call him Young Mike because I'm old Mike when I'm in the room with him. But and I'm with you on that. It's not for everybody, but I'm with you on that. And so when this Morehead City core group got established, it just made sense for you because that's kind of where you live.
Correct. It would drive to New Bern was a little over an hour to go to the meetings, and Moorhead is just almost in my backyard. So, and I was excited about being in on the ground floor of a new chapter, uh, being a part of it and watching it. Same with my business, watching it grow from the ground up.
Yeah. I know. I like the energy Missy brings, and I'll have her on eventually as well. There's just so
Yeah,
many visitor or realtors to have on. I gotta space them out. So,
yeah.
all right. What would today Darin tell day one Darin about starting this business now that you know what you know?
Um, get in front of people early. I would have done it a lot sooner. I think I would have been farther along now. Um, like I say, I'm not a natural born salesperson by any means. Um, every time I walk into a new business that I haven't seen before, I get the cold sweats. It's just not my expertise. Now, fixing your website and getting you ranked, very good at that, but not a good at getting in front of them to start with.
And
Uh,
what kind of different ways have you found to get in front of people outside of cold calling?
Email, direct email marketing, gosh, Facebook, Instagram, activity
Yeah.
and consistent activity. That, like you mentioned earlier, and that's with every business. Whatever you're going to do, do it consistently.
When did you know that Clear Future Consulting Services was going to make it?
Hopefully tomorrow.
No, no, no. I heard that answer 2 weeks ago. It's funny, but not quite believable.
No, I knew. Oh gosh, that I don't know if there's a specific time. More of, I knew it was going to make it when I brought when talking with my oldest son, and he decided he wanted to be a part of it. I thought, you know what, we're there, we're there,
Mhm. And
we're
you
making it.
you have 3 sons. How many are involved in the business?
Just the oldest.
Okay. Does he
Yep.
share your analytics?
Yes.
Okay.
He writes software for the military.
Nice.
Yeah, he's super intelligent. He's way smarter than me.
As all kids should be. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
I heard a
yeah.
line, yeah, what was the line? Roughly, it was, uh, believe your talk I think he was talking to sons. It says, "Believe your dad. He's probably the only male on the planet that wants you to be smarter than him." And I
Very
love that
true.
line. Yeah, I love that
Yep.
line. Yeah, and knowing when it's gonna work, you probably kinda get a sense of, like, you kinda look there's a time frame you probably look back and go, "That was a good quarter, a good," whatever it was. Do you remember your first client that wasn't a family member?
Absolutely. Yep.
Who was your
It
first
was
client?
it was a dumpster company, and he was fairly new. He was doing it part time, and he uh, in the very beginning, uh, the very first thing I tried was uh, Facebook marketing, and I would find a company that had a website but maybe needed some help, a lot of background work, and then I would contact him through Messenger. When I first started doing that, I'm so nervous. I mean, I'm sitting at the kitchen table, and I'm on my laptop, and I'm going through this, and I'm typing, and then I get a conversation. I pick up the phone, and I'm talking to him, and I stuttered and stammered all over the place. I finally said, "You know what? If I were you, I wouldn't buy from me either." And hung up.
Great sales pitch, man.
Yep. So I got up and I walked around. I thought, I'm not going to let this beat me. So I went back, and then the second call was the dumpster guy, and we just kind of hit it off. And he had just asked, he says, if you were me, what would you do? And I walked him through what I saw and what
Mhm.
steps I would take first. And he says, okay, let's do it. And
Nice.
it just was natural. And that's the customers. Now I kept him for probably about a year, and he called me and he says, Darin, bad news. I have to stop. And I said, okay, did I do something wrong? And
Mhm.
he's like, no, I can't handle any more work. So I do not need you sending me any more leads.
Yep.
So that was a, a good testimonial to say what I do works.
Mhm.
It worked almost too good for him. He wasn't ready for the growth.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that.
So,
Yeah,
yep,
because there's some industries like yours, you can work yourself out of business.
yes,
And I'm with you. That is a compliment right there. Yeah.
yep.
All right. So I've got you born in San Francisco, grew up in Southern Indiana. I want you to know. So your high school is at Channelton?
Hamilton.
Cannelton. I want you to know your junior year picture is on the internet.
Oh, goodness.
I love page 3 through page 30 of Google because that's when you find the one-offs, and your yearbook was up there and your junior picture was there. It's like, that's my man, Darin, right there.
Oof. Yeah, that's been a few years ago.
Yes, I know. Yeah, because when I saw the date of it, it's like, okay, yeah, we're close. Yep. All right, so let's go back to the direct message you sent that client.
Yep.
I'm starting to get business text, cold call text, and I hate them. I'm a big texter, but only with people I know. So where does that fit in? Is that even a good business plan to just cold call, cold text people?
It's not my model. A lot of people are doing
Uh,
it, and it is a marketing strategy.
yeah.
It's one of those that you do high volume and you get about a 1% return. My time's too valuable to do
Yep.
that. I won't do that unless it became absolutely necessary. And that's like paid ads. I'm not a big
Yeah.
paid ad guy because the return on the investment's not there.
Yep.
So I am more of the door to door guy. I'm the guy that's going to go knocking on the doors, or I'm going to find something maybe on LinkedIn. My California customer came to me from LinkedIn,
Mm.
and he had put a post out, "Hey, I'm needing this," and I responded to it. So I'm not an in your face guy. I'm not a guy who's going to send out 10,000 emails hoping to get two customers.
Yeah, and
Uh,
when somebody knocks on my front door on a Saturday, I know they're hustling. So I appreciate that. And I'll talk to them for a minute. I'll tell them, I don't buy anything on the front porch. And a
right.
great out is to say, "Oh, I'm not the homeowner." And they generally leave after that. But I give zero time to a cold text. But if you're
Yep.
out, I'm with you. If you're out hustling, I'll give you a minute or two because I respect the hustle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Um, it's different when you're in front of somebody
Yes.
face to face.
Yep.
I mean, because you got to give them kudos. They're out there, they're walking the streets, they're knocking on doors, they're putting in the work.
Mm.
That tells you they're hungry.
Yes.
Where a text is just, I can literally send 10,000 texts in a matter of 2 minutes.
Yes. And you could
And
schedule it Friday for Monday. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah,
so
I'm not a
there's no personalization to it.
Yeah, and that's why I beg people don't put too much weight in an email campaign because it's really easy to say no, but again, if you show up face to face, all right, I'll give you a minute. But
Yep.
yeah, easy outs, stay away from those as a big part of your marketing plan.
Yes. I'll leave that for the big boys.
Yep. All right, so we've been putting Darin's phone number up on the screen here. What's the website, Darin?
It's clearfuturecs.com.
All right. So, folks, if you followed me for a while, I've told you over and over again there's two things on day -1 a small business owner should outsource. One is your bookkeeping, and the other is your social media/digital marketing because we're not going to be consistent. We may be decent at it, but we won't be consistent in either to either stay out of IRS jail or Google jail. So you need professionals like Darin. You need to call him and talk through what you want, and he'll listen to you. He's already told you he'll listen to you on the do a phone call with folks. So if somebody's getting ready to start, they love digital media, they're good at it, and they want to make that a business. What's one or two things they need to make sure they have in place, set up, however you want to phrase that, before they open up their shop?
They need to have their organization as far as whether it's an LLC or a corporation. They need to have their EIN, all that stuff lined up. And they need to have about 6 months of reserve because it's
Excellent.
going to take you time to build that business. So that, and then learn every day.
Yeah, the underfunded part is what gets a lot of small businesses is because if you're
Yes,
not funded properly, you're going to make some bad decisions that first month because you got to pay your house note. And,
right.
respect that, but that's not the best business model. So, do they need to be good at all of the digital marketing or just know what Google's looking for, kinda like having some answers to the test?
They really need to learn it all because every customer is unique. You may need social media where the next guy may need the SEO,
Mm.
the third guy may need review reputation management.
Ooh.
So, I mean, there are so many different avenues, and no two businesses are alike. So you need to be able to look at that business and see what they're missing and provide them with the services that fit their needs.
Good advice, folks. That's why you call the experts like Darin. Darin, enjoyed this conversation. So glad for your success and so glad you're staying at BNI so I get to stay in touch with you. But good luck with the Morehead City Group. I know they will welcome your BNI expertise as well as your business expertise.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yep. And so we've been putting Darin's phone number on the screen, folks. Please give him a call just to start chatting, see if there's a way he can help you. The answer is yes, but just figure out what it is he can help you on. So enjoyed it, Darin, very much. And we will see everybody next time on Capital to the Coast BNI.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com and DeltaForce.net.